Spartan Nation, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Cue the Woodshed, the bye-week edition. I'm Ken, the super cool Spartan. My brother Brian, the super mad Spartan. He's probably cooled off this week since there was no game to be played. Williams Inc., Cue the Woodshed. Back at it once again. So, well, first off, how was your weekend, sir, since we didn't have any games to watch?
It was a little bit weird. Maybe I'm a masochist because I kind of missed Michigan State playing a little bit, but at the same time I was relieved because it's not always enjoyable to watch them play.
Right.
But I did enjoy watching some other games, not having a rooting interest in just getting to watch, mostly good football.
Mm-hmm.
There are some coaching blunders out there, so it didn't make me feel as bad about our program. I saw some things like Miami play. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw that.
Overall, it was a good weekend.
Okay. Yeah, I watched some other games too, and the games that I watched, probably like most Spartan fans, they were wondering like, wow, how come our team can't look like that? I watched Ohio State, Maryland, how Ohio State, was so precise, with the offense.
The second half definitely came out on a mission.
Yeah. Defense did their thing. I watched Alabama overcome Texas A&M. Everything talking about with Nick Saban kind of falling off. I don't see that.
Well, falling off to them is losing one or two games.
So, yes, it was interesting watching other football games. This kind of like, wow, why can't we can't be like that? But hey, as you say, it is what it is.
Yes, definitely.
So, hey, let's get into it. So, again, no football games, but of course, a lot of chatter out there. Coaching rumors. Everything is out there, all these different lists. Of course, the biggest thing is Urban Meyer. I mean, that Urban Meyer that's like a hot wire right now. I mean, you've had so many articles and people saying, oh yeah, he was in East Lansing this past week. Bruce Feldman from CBS, or I'm sorry, for Fox.
Yeah.
From Fox, who works alongside Urban, said that, oh yeah, Urban told me no, he's not going for the job.
Interesting.
And then you have I think it was Jeff Rieger from 97 Won the Ticket. He interviewed some guy who was a former reporter here in Detroit. I think he's in Vegas now.
He had a lot of connections. He had a lot of sources for his stuff. He kind of said, he was on campus. And I think the biggest thing about it is that Michigan State fans are kind of like, we want to win and want to win now.
Right.
And Urban Meyer represents the coach that has a track record of going to places and winning. He's won everywhere he's been at. He doesn't stay places very long, but he's won. And he's won big. And pretty much most people are kind of saying, he was on campus. Does that mean that everybody's coming to Michigan State? No, probably not. But that's the unicorn hire, the place we're trying to get to, the fantasy land that everybody wants to get to and see. And I think it's a good thing for most fans that want to achieve that level. Now, they're always saying Urban Meyer has a past, he has baggage, which is true. Most coaches do.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about big boy football. There's no coach out there at big-time programs that doesn't have something.
Right.
And I'm not saying this right, but it is what it is. And
Exactly.
The funniest thing about the Urban Meyer situation is just the kind of national media response to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just oh my God, why is Michigan State, why would they want to go after Urban Meyer? Why don't they go look at this Eastern Michigan coach? Why don't they just promote Harlan Barnett and keep him as the head coach? Why don't they just go to the discount bin and get whatever five and below head coach they can get? And it says how the media thinks about Michigan State and what they think our place should be. Now, they wouldn't write these articles about other teams that are trying to win. If Michigan fired their head coach, they'd be like, oh yeah, Michigan should, they'd be writing articles about them trying to get NFL coaches to leave the NFL team, stuff like that. But Michigan State, oh no. We have to hear from former beat writers writing about why Michigan State shouldn't want Urban Meyer because of Larry Nassar, and we should want Pat Narduzzi, and we should settle for less, essentially. It's disrespectful. Like, nothing against Pat. He was a great coach when he was here, but that ship is kind of sailed. I don't think anybody would be excited to see Pat Narduzzi come back as the head coach.
I agree. And yeah, for some reason, when it comes to Michigan State nationally, there is this perception that they should just be this second-class, second-tier school for the football program.
Happy to be there.
Yeah, just happy to be there.
As if we didn't have a head coach before that took us to the playoffs.
Right.
They didn't win 3 Big Ten championships. Like, they didn't one of the top teams in the Big Ten during that era.
Right.
And it's like, okay, we had a taste and we still want that.
Right.
So why shouldn't we expect more? And Urban Meyer has the history of winning.
Right.
And I'm not saying, I'm pretty sure more like he's not going to come here. And I understand people's hesitations about some of his past, and especially because we just fired our coach for unethical things.
Phone calls.
Yeah, a little bit more than phone calls, but no, I gotta get into that. That's the past. We're looking towards the future. So, yeah, it's just weird. The response to it, and then Twitter, now known as X. People are, they have to have fun and make the little graphics about Urban Meyer and MSU stuff on, and raise the flag where pirates are coming and take people. And you know what? Just having fun with it, but it just gets such backlash.
Yeah. And
it's so interesting. Like we shouldn't want to win.
Right. The problem is, of course, in this big, great, illustrious state of Michigan, like you said, it's a blue wall, and that I think, goes to the national media. Michigan is the darling, program of the state of Michigan, and that's the perception. I mean, despite that, Mark D'Antonio, when he was the coach, he became the winningest coach in MSU football history. He's beat Michigan consecutive times, like you said. He's one of the rare schools. He's one of the rare schools, or taking a school like us to the playoff.
Yes.
I mean, how many programs are in the state? I mean, in college football, D1,
130 something.
And Michigan State is in that rare class of being in the college football playoff.
Yes.
So why can't we have that? Why can't we have those aspirations to get back there or win it all? I mean,
I don't know. It's just I just think it's weird, and it's kind of created a more of a us versus them mentality.
Right.
I was listening to a podcast with the Let's State Journal beat writer Graham Couch. He was originally against
Urban Meyer,
but then he's seeing some of the backlash, and I listened to his podcast. He was like, well, the more they were against them, like Michigan State should go for it, because why should they want to win?
Right.
And it's like, okay, yes, why should we want to win? And just this, I don't know, it's just crazy. But let's kind of move forward. Urban Meyer is like I said, the unicorn hire, the mountaintop hire, our deepest dreams and goals. But there are other names out there, and we're not going to go through every name out there, just a few of them, because we don't even know. These are all just rumors. There's nothing been concrete. I'm sure that Alan Haller, the Michigan State athletic director, is going to play everything close to the vest, because some of these coaches are currently still coaching. You don't want to be disrespectful to their programs.
Right.
When we're trying to steal a coach, but like I said, we can get into it. Go ahead and run down the list.
One thing I point out, since we were talking about history, that's what I have on my 2015 Big Ten shirt on.
It's been too long.
It's been too long.
We live in the past now, since a decade ago.
Yes, and I wanted to wear this during the bye week because since we're in that current state of where we're at, this like wow. But we did achieve this.
Did achieve it, but like I said, it's almost 10 years ago now. If you went and looked up the games on YouTube, the film would be grainy. So it's been far too long, and that's why people are really wanting to win like now.
Right.
And they wanted the former coach to really work out, even though it didn't.
Right. And one thing I'll point out, before we get into our list here is that, I've stated in some previous episodes that MSU, I think, is in a kind of a dangerous spot right now because with, the top schools from the Pac-12 coming into the program or conference next year, that's going to make it even harder. And that's going to pretty much, put Michigan State maybe in the irrelevant category if we don't get the right coach to come in.
Yes.
Because we don't want to, have these schools coming in and talking, well, yeah, that's going to be an easy W.
Yeah, the get right team.
Right.
We might be a get right team versus Rutgers. Who knows? But to your point, with the playoffs expanding to 12, it's basically if you're not ranked in the top 15, you're irrelevant. No one cares. No one cares about your little bowl game for 6-6 and root for the Gipper and go. No one cares about that. It's about
Lane Bowl.
Yeah, no one cares about the World Series Bowl, whatever it's called now. No, you got to get in that playoffs top 15. And to your point, there might just think about the Big Ten and adding these 4 teams. Probably on most years, the Big Ten will get in 3 teams.
Right.
And so you could probably almost basically pencil in Michigan, Ohio State, and then maybe USC, because I don't know what USC is going to look like without Caleb Williams, because their defense, there's a lot to be desired. You have Washington, they're going to lose some of their best receivers, and Penix is gone, so what are they going to look like?
Yeah.
Unknown. UCLA, 5-star quarterback Dante Moore from Detroit. He's starting, he's looking pretty good, so they might be a team to beat.
Yeah, they just beat Washington State, I think, this past weekend.
Yes, they did. We'll talk a little bit about Washington State later on. And then Oregon, they've been rolling. Who knows? They have the Nike behind them. Phil Knight with the bank rolling. They've been recruiting very well over there. So that third spot, even maybe that second spot is not even guaranteed in the Big Ten. And you have to be up in that echelon to at least get there.
Yeah.
And you can fall back quick, like you said.
Yeah, and to your point with the getting at least maybe 3 teams in, maybe 4. Yeah, I think it's up for grabs for anybody. I mean, really, the only school I pencil in is Ohio State because with whatever Michigan has this year, they won't be there next year.
That's true.
Penn State, I mean,
you kind of never know with Penn State.
They're kind of up and down. So, yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard.
Tough sled in the Big Ten.
So
I mean, I know it's not the greatest of conferences right now, but it could definitely go up.
Yeah.
Definitely go up.
Right. So, some of these other coaches other than Urban Meyer that's been getting chatter with all of these different potential lists, like I said, 2.0 list, 3.0 list. Probably by the end of the week there'll be a 4.0 list. It's like playing Uno or something.
I have a feeling
that all these different coaches out
we're
there.
going to mention all these people that have been talked about, and it's not going to be any of them. It's going to be somebody we never heard of, left field, and
well, hopefully it won't be like a John L. Smith because when MSU hired him, that was really left field. I mean, it was to the point like, ooh.
Yeah, see, that was that was my time period at Michigan State. I call it the dark ages of John L. Smith. So I remember that very fondly. So let's get to it. The biggest name, well, not biggest, not the word. The name that everybody brings up a lot is like a consistent, steady head coach is Mike Elko from Duke.
Mm-hmm.
He's came to Duke. He's winning there. A place is kind of hard to win. He didn't inherit a really good quarterback, but he has the team playing solid. And that's, for us, that's like, okay, hey, a solid team.
Yeah, he beat Clemson. I mean, that was big time for them.
They took it to Notre Dame for a while. They lost near the end, but they were there. I think the quarterback got hurt.
Oh, okay.
Elko's been a defensive coordinator, I think, at Texas A&M. So he has a certain pedigree, but he's only been a head coach, I think, for 2 years. It's his second season.
Oh, okay.
So then everybody has pluses and minuses, and it's, who knows?
Right.
But I think he would represent that kind of consistency that people are looking for. Now, is he even interested in the job? I don't know.
Right.
But his name is out there. And I feel like, for the most part, if you have a big checkbook, you can get a lot of people. So we'll see.
Including Urban Meyer.
Put that in the back burner. But I would, I'm on Urban Meyer train. I would love it. I said it from the beginning, like, hey, if we're going to have this national media perception of being this dirty school and everything's going to be cut to Larry Nassar, we might as well bring in Urban Meyer and say whatever.
Bad boys of the Big Ten, baby.
Raise the flag. Yeah. So we go to the next one. All right, we got Charles Huff from Marshall. He was known as a coaching savant, as I've heard.
I think he coached with Saban.
He was at Alabama, Penn State. I think he was at Mississippi State. He's known as a big time recruiter. I don't know what that means because when you at Alabama and Penn State, where it's easy to recruit,
the names speak for themselves.
Yeah, we just had a coach that was supposedly a big time recruiter, and we recruited fairly decently, but not like we were expecting. The knock against Huff is he's a coach at Marshall. This is his second season too. He's kind of a younger guy. I think he's only in his mid to late 30s.
Okay.
So kind of an unknown up and comer. He has a really good name in the coaching circle. So I don't know. I'm not against him. I think it would be an interesting hire, but I would prefer a candidate with more head coaching experience. We need somebody who's a known program builder, in my opinion. I'm not low on Huff. He's not high on my list of expectations. What I want for a head coach. What do you think?
I agree with you. What appeals to me about Huff, of course, he's a brother, so and we know in college football, not too many of us get those head coaching positions.
That is true. Well, when I want to win, so it doesn't matter. It could be a Martian came down and he knew football, and he could get people to come to Michigan State. All right, beat me up, Scotty.
I've seen Elko. Like I said, I did see when they played Clemson, and they pretty much slapped Clemson around.
They controlled the game. So, Clemson is they're kind of on the downturn. Dabo has been very vocal against the transfer portal and NIL.
Yeah, he's a traditionalist, and it's not working for him right now.
Yeah, there's other words I'll use, but
I
think it's hurting him a lot, and I think Clemson's a program on decline.
Yeah, I think so too. Mm-hmm. And what about the coach from Washington State? I think his name has been mentioned.
Jake Dickert? I think yes. Yeah, he took over for the coach there who basically got fired because he didn't want to get a COVID shot, which is whatever.
Oh.
And he took over, and I think they were 7-6 that year after he took over. And then last year they led him to 9 wins. He's supposedly a defensive coordinator, but they have really good offense. They got a lot of guys from the transfer portal.
Okay.
And they turned that team right off. I watched them play a couple of times. They got a quarterback from, I think it's Incarnate Word. And he's looking like the real deal. But again, not a lot of head coaching experience. And if he's a defensive coach, their defense has not been great this year. And I'm listening to pluses and minuses just to give you an idea. Because you never know what someone's going to be when they go to a new program.
Right.
Because if we just look at wins and losses with schools, we would have never gotten Mike D'Antonio because he didn't have a great record at Cincinnati when he was there coming to the Big Ten.
Yeah, he was kind of average, I think.
It was almost like 500, like 18-14, 18-17, something like that. So these aren't the end-all, be-all. But these just the, we got to give pros and cons to everybody.
Yeah, and I think the coach from Oregon State has also been on these 3,000 potential candidate lists that's been circling around everywhere.
Yeah, Jonathan Smith, I believe his name is. He's won at Oregon State, the Beavers. Go Beavers. And it's like, winning at Oregon State is not tough, especially in the Pac-12 where, the Pac-12 has some good teams. I know we talk about the conference not being as good as the Big Ten, but...
Oh, it's better than the Big Ten.
Well, this year definitely. Yes. But he's won there, and it's It's hard to recruit there, but he got, I think, he won 9 games last year.
Yeah, okay.
And so that's like, whoa.
Yeah, especially for Oregon State.
So program builder, obviously a plus. I don't know about his recruiting chops. Hard to say. I think he's primarily been a West Coast guy most of his career. I think he played at Oregon State too.
Okay.
So the thought there is that it'd be hard to pry him away from Oregon State, but Oregon State is going to be a team without a conference next season.
Oh yeah, and Washington State too, aren't they? I don't think they've made any moves to.
I'm not sure. I don't think so, but that's kind of another reason why these guys are on the list too.
Oh,
because they can get got essentially.
Yeah.
Because it's not if you're not in the Pac-12 and they're not going to the Big 12, what conference are you going to?
ACC.
I don't think the ACC wants them, and
the AAF.
And there have been some rumors, like deep in the woods rumors about more Big Ten expansion and possibly taking, I think it was Clemson and Florida State. I don't know how true it is.
Oh yeah, that was a story like over the summer.
Yeah, I don't know how true it is. I don't know. I have no clue. I'm just throwing it out there. So the ACC might be going away. The way college football is headed, you're looking at basically the Big Ten and SEC.
Yeah, and everybody
and it's going to be more of
and the MAC.
It's going to be more of a NFL model, I think. But yeah, with Oregon State, if you're not in the conference, who are you playing? Where are you going? Why would you want to stay there? And like I said before, you could cut that check and get him. But like I said, he's a West Coast guy. He played at Oregon State. We don't know if he can recruit in the Midwest. It's not the end-all, be-all. But pros and cons.
Yeah. Well, whoever the next coach is, my preference is that they are more offensive-minded, because when was the last time we've seen outside of Kenneth Walker being on the team a couple years ago, when's the last time we've seen like a dynamic Michigan State offense?
Dynamic is an interesting word in terms of Michigan State offense. Probably almost a decade ago, I think the best offense we've had that I can remember that was a good team, maybe 2014. That offense was awesome.
That's the year we went to the playoff?
No, the year before they went to the playoffs. 2014, we lost 2 games. We lost to Ohio State and we lost.
Oh yeah, that was the year after we went to the Rose Bowl.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was. I don't really care about offense, defense, because you can if you're a defensive head coach, as long as you hire a good offensive coordinator and let them do their thing, you should be fine.
But that's the problem to me with Michigan State. I mean, the last couple coaches. I mean, Mark D'Antoni was more of a defensive guy.
Yes.
But for most of his tenure, he had a good offense.
Good, yes. It was.
I say good.
Good.
It wasn't prolific.
It was adequate. They won games.
And then on the Mel Tucker again, like I said, outside of the lightning in a bottle with Kenneth Walker, the offense has struggled.
I mean, the team is struggling.
Well, the team
struggled. It wasn't just the offense.
I would like to see, and this is what I was talking about when we first opened our show here, watching, other football games, just how dynamic and efficient these other offenses are for these, these notable name programs, the Ohio States and the Alabamas. I mean, both teams have had their struggles kind of coming, into the season. But I mean, looking at these teams now, they're kind of humming, and it's just like, well, why can't we have that?
Well, this is going to sound very simplistic, but you have to have a quarterback. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's, football, college, pros, you have to have that dude at quarterback. And we haven't had, like, that dude. Connor Cook is the last great Michigan State quarterback. And I think Lewerke was on the brink, but then, he got hurt and he was never kind of the same. But you have to have the quarterback. And it reminds me of one of the coaching names that was kind of been thrown out there as just strictly a rumor, is Chip Kelly from UCLA. Because like I said, mentioned earlier, they had Dante Moore. And so the thought, this is Mike Valenti brought this up on his radio show last week about Chip Kelly being the head coach. Because if you can get Chip Kelly and get him to bring Dante Moore, now you have a solid head coach and you have your quarterback, and you can go from there. I'm not a huge Chip Kelly fan, but I like the idea of it. All right, we need a quarterback.
Yeah.
And we don't know what we have in our quarterbacks, and we'll get to that later on. So, again, because it's just you kind of follow some of the teams that have these new head coaches. Like USC,
Lincoln
Riley, he leaves Oklahoma to take Caleb Williams, and they go to USC, and they're winning.
Yeah. Even Dion with Shador, I mean,
Yes.
Ooh, that kid can
He can ball.
all right.
Yeah, he can ball, definitely.
He just needs an offensive line to help him out a little
defense.
more.
But so yeah, I hear you. I just want a team that wins.
I do too.
Like I'm back to the let's just win. It don't gotta be pretty anymore. It don't have to be. I know we used to get frustrated at the end of the Antonio era. Like okay, we won this game
7-6.
Oh my God, we lost the game 7-6. It was the Red Box Bowl. Burn that tape. Well, I hear you. So again, I think it's more so quarterback and then the lines, because you can get good skill players from all over. 3-star, 4-star, 2-star. You can, if you have a good enough offense, you can make it work if you have the quarterback. Because if you have somebody there who can stand there and deliver the ball, for the most part, you can win.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need better recruiting for the quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Or hey, maybe the guys we haven't seen, the unknown is undefeated.
Yeah, that's true. So, well, any other thoughts on any other the coaching candidate, carousel, the merry-go-round?
The last one that kind of comes to mind is Kansas head coach Lance Leopold.
Mm-hmm.
He's a older coach, but he's built programs. He has a reputation. He's won at Kansas, and Kansas is
Basketball school.
definitely a basketball school. Definitely a basketball school, but he's won a few games there. He has a good reputation amongst the college football. He's a little bit older, but there's chatter there, I guess. But I don't know. He wouldn't be super high on my list, but I love Michigan State, so I'll support any coach that comes here. But I would definitely want someone a little bit more, a little sexier, like a higher.
Like Urban Meyer.
Of course, it's not Urban or bust, but it's a pipe dream, and I know that. I'm not like, Urban's going to come here now. If they could pull it off, great. I'd even sign up for some NIL stuff, $10 a month. Take it right out of my check. But yeah, Lance Leopold, Kansas, that's the name that's coming floating around there. Program builder, I guess.
Well, as they say, money talks, and those big time MSU donors behind closed doors. I'm sure they're getting ready to. Hey, how much you need? Let's get Urban. How much you need, sir?
Well, I think
AD Haller, how much you need to back up that Brinks truck?
Well, it's just more than the donors. You have to. Michigan State can be kind of a clown show in the administration, and in the past, well, most of our football past, that's been the issue. There hasn't been just one vision. Everybody's going to move forward and win some football games. It's each section has their agenda that they want to push. They want this person. They want that person. Oh, you have to interview this guy. And that kind of gets jumbled up.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, if we get everybody in the administration on board, the board of trustees, the athletic department, the donors, maybe we can have something. But
one thing
that's not in our history.
You just reminded me. Speaking of administration, MSU doesn't even have a president, so.
Yes, exactly. But I heard they're trying to hire one at least by after Thanksgiving, so we'll see.
Yeah. So, speaking of our program, let's chop it up about the current state of those fighting Spartans. I mean, right now we're sitting at a 2-3 record. Just like a repeat of last season. First 2 games we won. Last 3 games.
It's frustrating because Maryland, maybe they don't beat Maryland. Maybe. They definitely should have beat Iowa. Like,
most definitely.
100% should have beaten Iowa. It's just bad coaching, bad execution, penalties. You just go turn on the last podcast. We went through it. We don't have to go through the whole thing again.
No.
It just triggered me when I just thought about the game. And like, it could have at least be 500.
Yeah. But like you said,
well, not 500, at least 3 and 2.
Yeah. Well, like you said, hey, just check out our last episode. You'll see everything. You see the mass burn come out here. but yeah, 2-3 record right now. And what are your thoughts on the rest of the season? Because after this, we have roughly 7 games left. Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
7 games left. And I think 3 of those games against the top 5 to 7 teams.
Yeah,
Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State.
3 top 10 teams. It just feels like with that Iowa game, and I don't know if we can win another game. Just how they came out versus Iowa and the lack of execution and the mistakes. The same mistakes we've been seeing since they started playing Power 5 teams. We got into the Big Ten schedule. I don't know if we can win another game. We're almost a touchdown dog to Rutgers.
Yeah, sinking ship. If he starts to sink, then hey,
he's
no better than what we're going through now at Lower Kim. Not to bag on Kim, but he's not cutting it.
He's not. And I'm 90% sure we're going to see Katin Houser, and everybody's going to get their wish. They've been clamoring for Katin Houser. He stepped on campus. Comes from a big-time high school program, Bosco or something like that.
Original Boise State commit.
Yes.
And Tucker did get him to flip to Michigan State. So
he's a 4-star guy. He's supposed a lot of talent, but he's coached by our offensive coordinator, and so I don't know how much different it's going to look. Because I think, all right, we've seen Thorne to Kim. They don't look.
They look kind of similar.
Much different.
Yeah, right.
And so it leads me to kind of believe that, hey, maybe this is it. This is the offense. This is what we're expecting from offensive coordinator. Now I'm hoping. I'm just hoping that have nothing, no tangible data that says Katin Houser is going to come in and be that guy. I just hope you don't turn the ball over.
Yeah, that's the main thing that we don't need. We don't need any more turnovers.
Limit the mistakes.
Yeah.
Just limit the mistakes.
Yeah.
Because we should beat Rutgers. But will we? Will they show up? No clue.
Right. And Rutgers coming off a loss last week. I forgot who they played, but I saw where they played. They lost. So that won't help because the game is at Rutgers. But, yeah, I think for me, you could be right. I mean, we're definitely not going to beat Michigan, Ohio State, or Penn State.
Not even a chance.
It'll be some kind of miracle. And all those other games, Indiana, that's probably a toss-up.
All the rest of the games are, we'll just say 3 losses
Minnesota,
with Penn State,
up.
Michigan, and Ohio State losses. Like I said, the rest of the winnable games all toss because we don't know what our team's going to look like.
Right.
And it's like, it's frustrating. I couldn't bet on Michigan State because if they can play a whole game like the first quarter of Iowa, but score touchdowns, we could win. But that's asking us to see something we haven't seen the team do ever.
And that's the reason why I was talking about wanting an offensive-minded head coach because it's just been maddening. But
the defense has been giving it up like they were before, but we haven't played the juggernauts of offenses yet, like we played Washington. So we shall see.
Yeah, that's gonna be Yep. So got QB change coming. The rest of the season looking kind of dismal. Good news is, I think by the end of October, Izzo will be on deck for.
They probably have a game coming up in a couple of weeks, so we're a basketball school.
At least this year, and I guess we were last year too. So,
Yes.
Any other thoughts of our team moving forward?
Hopefully by the end of November, early December, they'll announce the head coach, and we can go back to a higher hope stage. We're at low hope right now. It's almost to the borderline, like we're just manic hope.
Low hope to no hope.
True.
So, well, got I think a rather interesting fun fact here, sir, for about the program here. I was doing my research on fun facts about MSU football. Did you know that the very first game of football played at Michigan State was in 1896?
1896, almost 40 years after they opened up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if they were referred to as the Michigan Agricultural College at that time.
MAC, yeah.
But yeah, the first game was played in 1896, and it was just a bunch of students that just got together and said, hey, we're going to form a football team. Now, I don't know who they played in 1896. I'm quite sure this had the leather helmets, and that was it.
Maybe no helmets, I don't know.
And, a very rough-looking football, but yeah, the very first MSU football game was played in 1896.
The score is probably 2-3.
I know, probably. So, anything else for the cause, or on this bi-week episode of CTW? As we mentioned that our next opponent is Rutgers. They are coming off a loss. We are at least a 5.5 point underdog. So it's going to be I don't want to say a battle of the losers game, but hey, it could be. It could be like a toilet bowl game. We'll see.
I don't know. We gotta beat Rutgers. If we don't beat Rutgers, I just don't feel like we can win a game the rest of the season.
Yeah, and if we can't beat Rutgers, then yeah, I think everyone should just wipe everybody out.
Just fold them. Yeah, fold up shit.
I mean the coaches. just
Well, you don't have to worry about that. Most of these guys ain't gonna be here next season.
Oh no, I'm just saying they don't beat Rutgers. They might as well just not be here after the game. Have them walk home.
Just forfeit the rest of our
Yes,
games.
forfeit, yeah, against the replacement coaches.
Like I said,
Wheel out D'Antonio again if you need to.
we will be officially the get right team if we lose to Rutgers. We might as well change the name for the season. Michigan State Get Right Spartans.
Oh boy. Wow. Well, anyway, that's it for Cue the Woodshed, and we'll be back, after the Rutgers game, hopefully with a W. Make sure you.
I might not be here. It might just be a hat.
Might be a hat. There's the clown master sitting there.
The hat with a clown mask.
So make sure you check us out on YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel. Also check us out on TikTok and Instagram. And you can also email us at blkspartybros@gmail.com. We love getting your comments. You can also comment on our YouTube channel. We do answer all the questions. So with that said, I'm Ken, the super cool Spartan. My brother Brian, the super mad Spartan. Williams Inc. Cue the Woodshed. We out.
Peace.
Peace.